I want to talk to you about the third lecture and the post that will go with it. You'll find it on page 38 in your lecture packet. If you'll look with me, begin with a review. First, culture is stable and difficult to change. That is especially true in a ministry culture. Second, the important parts of a culture are essentially invisible. You have to ferret them out. And third, and this is very important because it's different than the business world, there is no right or wrong ministry culture except in relation to following God's will for the organization. The bottom line for ministry is not profitability, but faithfulness. Are we being faithful to what God has called us to? I then help us get back in touch with Edgar Sheen's work as I apply it to a ministry, the deep, broad, and stable parts of culture, and then I look at three ways to dig inside, to get a hold of, to unfold, to examine the heart of a culture. And there are ways to help you learn about culture, and then there are ways for you to help you think about it. The first is the archaeological dig, and again, this is from Sheen's book, but it's just simply applied to the church. And I take, formal first church and millennial or meaningful millennial church, and I kind of trace it right down through the levels. What are the artifacts? And look at that, and then the espoused values. I think when you read that section, it'll kind of click with what he is meaning about that. And then the shared tacit assumptions, which is on page 42, and you will take a look at that as well. Now, for some newer material, at the bottom of page 42, follow the story. The story is another way to get at culture, and it's a very important way. It's a powerful way. We think in terms of strategies and plans, and it's so easy in management to think that way. But the stories really hold things together. It's true in a business, it's true in a family, it's true in a ministry. And the work of Hopewell is marvelous. He's going on to heaven now, but his book is excellent, and he deals with organizational culture, particularly ministry culture, through the eyes of story. Story comes in times of crisis, and you'll see some stories you recognize. They help us make sense of what's happening, and they keep us in line. They tell us what we should and shouldn't do. The something God is trying to teach you story. You know that one in your area? The stay on the road even in the rough places and God will see you through story, or the just hold them and love them story, And the idea here is that every story has a setting, characterizations, and plot, and it looks at those, and I try to connect those with Scripture. I think you'll find that to be helpful. Take a look at it in depth, and at the bottom of page 46, here's where you can start to use it. In a business, in a family, in a culture, in a ministry, if you just listen for the stories people tell, particularly at times of crisis, you will learn about the culture. That's the point. And there's a little set of questions. They're kind of pastoral questions at the bottom of 46. You could easily adapt them for a business, instead of when somebody died, when did somebody retire, when did somebody get fired around here, when did somebody leave and take another job, that sort of thing. But you can kind of work your way down through those and make application. The characterization then gets to a deeper level than the setting. And if you will look at these, the crisis, proficiency, mood, and hope, these are pretty good. I mean, when it comes to, let me pick one out down here just to deal. Oh yeah, here we go. The mood of an organization, the mood of a ministry or a business. There's the innocent mood. There's the ambiguity. There's the big sleep. The fire's gone out. And I think you will hear culture here. The point is, are you hearing these themes when people just tell the stories of life, particularly the tough times in life? And again, top of 48, several questions you could ask. And then finally, the plot, what happens next, and I gave you 4 things that plots do. And then on page 49, I give you an exercise that I suggest you use. Use it in a Sunday school, use it wherever you might. It's the, if our church, our ministry, if we were a Bible story, what Bible story are we? And then just have them list that. Put them together in groups, let them come up with that. As you think of our ministry or church situation today, what Bible story comes to mind? And how is our church or ministry like that Bible story? I did this with a Lutheran church out in Silicon Valley. There were 50 people, had them in 8 different groups. Pick out a Bible story. 6 of the 8 groups chose the same story. The feeding of the 5,000. Which I thought, well, that's wonderful. They're doing lots of good things. But don't tell them what it means. Ask. And what does that story mean? And what it meant was, we have so many ministries, we can't keep up with it. It feels like trying to feed the 5,000. Well, bang! I knew what was going on. It's a powerful, powerful tool. Probing the heart values, another wonderful piece. And this is something that I have given to scores and scores of young ministers. Sent them out to just ask this set of questions. What is it about the church that's important to you? And don't give them the answer. Let them think. In fact, when you ask, don't lean forward like this. Just kind of lean back, sort of relax, and just say, what is it about the church that's important to you? And then just let them talk. And when they finish, take the essence of whatever they say and put it back in the same sentence. Well, for instance, I just love the people that are here. It's the people that mean the most. Okay. Well, what is it about the people that are here that is most significant to you? And then they'll have to think a little longer. They just they care for each other in times of real need. I mean, they're just always there. Okay. Well, what is it about people who take care of each other in times of need that are really that's really important for you? Well, it just says we're a family, that we can count on each other no matter. And then I'd press it again. What is it about being able to count on each other? And maybe they might come with, well, I mean, isn't that what God does for us? Bingo. You see, you hit pay dirt. And you've got a heart probe as to what, I'll tell you, do this with 50 people. You will know more about that ministry than you could learn in a lifetime of being there. And then you get up the next Sunday and say, for the last few weeks I've been asking a question. I want to tell you what I've heard from this congregation. Then you just brag on them and find the Bible stories that lift that up. And friend, you'll become their pastor in that moment. It works. It's a powerful, powerful tool. Now, there is a post, and I want to talk to you about it for just a moment. Love your enemies. And this is a tough post. Every leader goes through a time of real crisis and soul searching, when you got to get a hold of what's way down here because it's been put on the block. And I don't know where you are in that process, but I know enough to know a lot of folks are right there. And this Bible study presses not to just look at the enemy out there, but what's that enemy doing to you in here? You know, we tend to want to avoid our enemies, which makes us scared, and it's a horrible truth. You cannot lead people you're afraid of, so you got to look at that. Or we get riled up or angry all the time, and we just become our own worst enemy when we do that. And so I want to challenge you. Do the Bible study and answer the 4 questions. And we'll all be praying for each other in this process.